Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Michelle Moten with Urban Solace Yoga and Wellness, and we are super excited to bring you another month of fun and fitness right to your home, thanks to our partnership with the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. Now, today's Urban Solace home experience is what I lovingly call a high-low yoga practice, which will feature a unique mix of moderate and low-intensity flow sequences, all designed to increase our energy and build strength. I will offer many modifications throughout the session, making this suitable for all fitness levels and ages. But with any physical activity, we encourage you to please listen to your body, especially if there are any underlying health conditions or range of motion concerns. And remember, the information shared during this virtual class should never replace the guidelines set forth by your healthcare provider. Now, you have the option certainly to use a traditional yoga mat as your base because there are standing exercises in this session, and we want to make sure that you have a stable place to stand. And of course, bolsters or pillows are always encouraged for added comfort while seated or reclining. And if needed, you can always simply practice your breath work while listening to our playlist. So at this point, we simply ask that you come as you are, do what you can, and have fun while you're here. So let's get started. We're going to begin today actually seated in a comfortable position at the head of your mat. If you are taking care of the hips or the knees, you can always take a wide angle seat or even allow the knees to pop. But you can come into easy pose, or what my daughter used to call crisscross applesauce, and choose where you'd like to position your hands, either palms down on the knees or stacked in the lap, palms up. And then invite the eyes to close as you take a nice, deep cleansing breath. An opportunity to symbolically step away from the busyness of the world and into ourselves, out of the head and into the body. And as you scan yours from head to toe, take inventory of what you're feeling and how you're feeling. And as you start with the face, gently relax the areas surrounding the eyes and the brow. Soften the cheeks, leaving that little cushion of space between the back teeth. And then traveling into the neck as you slowly lower the chin toward the chest. But without forcing, we're just going to allow gravity to tug at the forehead, assessing any tension that may be harbored in the soft tissues that support the head and neck. And with the chin tucked in, slowly begin to rotate the head, just sweeping the chin from shoulder to shoulder. And slowly bring your head back to neutral, leveling your chin parallel to the earth. And from here, we're going to lower the right ear toward the right shoulder. Noticing, once again, any tension on the opposite side from the base of the ear to the distal edges of the shoulder. Head back to neutral, and let's switch sides. Again, nice and easy. Maybe noticing anything different on this side compared to the first. Good. And head back to neutral. Now let's begin to correct the posture. Sitting nice and tall, allowing the shoulders to drop down and back. Feeling those core muscles engaging, helping to support the spine, but we don't want the abdomen so tight that it stifles the movement of the belly when we tap into our deep breath. And now let's begin to rotate the wrists. Wiggle the fingers. Give your hands a nice squeeze. Maybe even flex and extend those wrists, letting go of any tension in each of the forearms and also the digits. And then gently allow the hands to come to rest. And from here, we'll just settle in, quieting the mind as you start to awaken your breath. So when you're ready, with the mouth closed, drawing the air only in and out through the nose, let's begin to make that transition. And as always, picturing the inhales beginning in the base of your belly, and let that breath rise all the way to the tips of the collarbone, only to be released in reverse. regarding your torso much like a vessel, and we're filling it from the bottom to the top. Paying close attention to how this breath feels as it passes through the nostrils, how it feels as it begins to consume the thoracic cavity, and of course, how it makes you feel. That sense of calmness that you are in control of, even in the face of challenging poses. So with that in mind, let's continue that quiet focus for 5 more deep breaths as we prepare to begin. Now with the hands on the front edges of the knees, on an inhale, start to unroll. Let the shoulders drop down and back, lifting the chin, exposing the throat, creating a sensation much like you're trying to prevent yourselves from falling back. And noticing what you feel in the front body, from the clavicle down to the hips. And then let's exhale gently, slowly, softly, begin to round the back, curling in, creating this nice concave shape. Noticing what you feel in the back body, from the base of the skull to the top of the waist. And now let's make this dynamic. Inhale, slowly unroll, lifting the chin. Exhale, curling in. Taking your time. And we're using this flow as a warm-up. So as you start to notice those muscles beginning to soften, maybe increase the range of motion. But give me 2 more. Good. And as you make your way to that final lift, go ahead and exhale, fold forward. We're going to come into clam. So you can extend the arms completely forward, or you can cross them underneath the head. Just allowing the body to become heavy. And this is a gentle hip opener, so noticing what you feel in the outer aspect of the hips, even into the glutes and the hamstrings. And let's gently rock from side to side. And slowly return to center, sliding the hands back. And for those of you with your legs crossed, we're just going to switch the position, so whichever leg was in front will now be tucked behind. So we don't play favorites with the hips or knees. This time, hands on either side of the hips, and we're going to anchor with that right hand. Inhale, lift the left arm up and over. A gentle push with that base hand, keeping the sit bones firmly rooted. We're going to take some nice deep breaths so we can begin to open up that space from the base of the arm to the top of the waist. And stretching out those intercostal muscles. You can even choose which direction you'd like to rotate your head, based on the comfort of the neck and shoulders. Good. Exhale, slowly release. Inhale up and over opposite side. Again, a gentle push with that base hand. Noticing anything different here on this side compared to the first. And exhale, release. 1 breath, 1 movement. And just taking your time, moving no faster than the rhythm of your breath. You may have noticed today's practice is a little different with our setting. Actually, this week would have marked our first week on the riverfront, so I thought it would be fitting to take our practice outdoors. So hopefully, for the remainder of this month, if you're so inclined, maybe you can take your mat onto your balcony, your back porch, or into your yard, just to enjoy the fresh air and the sounds of nature. So give me 1 more on each side. And as you complete that final round, we're going to exhale slowly, allow that hand to come to rest. And let's tiptoe the fingers forward for another clam. And again, taking note of any differences on this side compared to the first. Good, and gently rock from side to side, loosening up the hips. And then slowly return to neutral. Nice. Let's uncross the legs, rock the knees from side to side, just loosening up the hips from that static position. And then coming back to center. Now from here, we're going to sweep the feet behind us and choose which side you'd like to face. So you'll be facing the short end of your mat. And if you're on a hard surface, as always, you have that option to fold the mat over in the center to give the knees an extra layer of cushion. Spreading the fingers nice and wide, stacking the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees, and let's begin to flow through cow and cat. So on an inhale, lifting the chin, swaying the back, tilting the tailbone up. And on an exhale, nice arch in the back, tucking the chin, shifting the hips forward. Again, slow and steady, without rushing or racing. Paying close attention to what you feel in the muscles that line the back body. And again, as needed, feel free to exaggerate the flow, even pushing your hands into the earth to deepen that back stretch. Let's get 2 more rounds in. And as you complete that final one, we're just going to slowly pass through neutral table to bring the big toes together, knees open wide, taking a seat into child's pose. And really get a good stretch here. You can extend out through the arms, you can cross the arms underneath the head, or even sweep the arms back behind you as if you were reaching back for your feet. But remember, if you're taking care of the hips or the knees, simply rest on the forearms with the hips elevated. Whatever feels good for you. And because we will be sneaking in some higher intensity flows, always know that this is your home base. So if you need to take a break or just simply reconnect with the mind, body, and the breath, you always have that option to come here. So with arms outstretched, palms flat on an inhale, we're going to slowly rise up. Passing through that neutral table, allowing the hips to drop, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the chin, exposing the throat, and then exhale. Gently push back. Nice and easy. Inhale to rise. Again, let the hips drop. Roll the shoulders back. Exhale. Gently push back. And just taking your time. And stimulating the blood flow into the lower lumbar region, the knees, hips, even the shoulders. 2 more. And as you make your way to that final hip drop, we're just going to slowly return to a neutral table position. So this will be a good time to walk those hands back once again. Nice flat back. And on the inhale, we're going to extend out with that right leg and lift it, toes in the knee pointing straight down. Navel's drawn in to engage the core muscles. And if it's available to you, let's extend out with that opposite arm. Nice energetic reach. Shoulders away from the ears. And also a good flexed foot. Imagining you're leaving your footprint on the wall behind you. And we're just going to hold it static today. Focusing on balance and building strength in these muscles. Good. Exhale, slowly release the hand, followed by the knee, giving your spine a deep cat arch again, breathing into the back. And let's return to that neutral table position. preparing for the opposite side. So inhale, extend out with that left leg and lift it. Toes in the knee, pointing straight down. And once you feel that balance, allow the right arm to reach. Holding it static, but without holding your breath. Nice. Exhale, slowly release the hand, followed by the knee. Again, giving your spine a deep cat arch, breathing into your back. Big toes together, knees open wide. Let's take a seat into child's pose. Extending through the arms. Again, surrendering the forehead, breathing from shoulder to shoulder and hip to hip. And maybe lifting the palms to rotate the wrists. Wiggle the fingers and give your hands a good squeeze. Nice. Now from here, we're just going to lift the head and walk the hands to the floor on the right side of your mat. So you can stretch out that left arm, releasing the ear to the bicep, and allow just the arms and the torso to become heavy. So it's very similar to threading the needle. You're getting a nice deep stretch in the shoulder girdle, kind of opening up those rotator cuff muscles. So this is where the power of the breath comes in. So closing the eyes, and sending your breath into those nooks and crannies. Nice. And gently lift the head. We're going to pass through center and switch sides. So walk the hands to the left side of your mat, stretching out that right arm to release the ear to the bicep. Again, allowing the body to become heavy. Breathing deeply. On and gently lift the head. We're going to come back to center, rising up into our table. Now, if you've created the cushion for the knees, this would be a good opportunity to slide it away or to unfold your mat so we have a nice, flat, stable surface. And as you set the alignment, we want to make sure that we keep the hands and the feet right where they are, because we're going to tuck the toes under, and on an exhale, lift your hips up and back into our first downward facing dog. And we're just going to ease our way into it. A little tuck of the chin as if you were looking toward the thighs, smiling the sit bones up toward the sky. And let's begin to bend one knee at a time, alternating very slowly from side to side. Good. Returning to a static down dog position. Now, on an inhale, we're going to lift that right foot up toward the sky. And on an exhale, swing, step, or assist the right foot between the hands. And when I say assist, you can use that arm or hand to help guide the foot forward. We're going to release that left heel 45 degrees. Begin to push with both feet as we rise up in preparation for Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. So we want to first start by squaring the chest and hips toward the front edge of the mat. Nice energetic reach through the fingertips, setting the shoulders down and back. Give a peek to your toes to make sure you can see them to keep the knee joint safe. And you can certainly adjust the depth of the lunge or even adjust your arm position based on how the shoulders or the knees feel. So we're looking to build some heat in the lower extremities while engaging the core. So this is where that strength building comes in while we hold these isometric contractions. So keeping your feet glued to the earth, on an exhale, we're just going to float open into our Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Setting the shoulders down and back, giving the toes a little wiggle, just to make sure they're nice and light, and that the pressure is still even in the four corners of the soles of the feet. Also, give me a little pinch with those shoulder blades. We call that scapular retraction. It's a great way also to improve our posture from all of the rounding that we do when we're seated at our desks or hovering over our electronic devices. So by now you should start to feel some heat building in the legs, and we're going to keep that going. So let's inhale, send that right hand up, left hand to the left thigh, coming into your reverse warrior, or you can cross the left arm behind the back. I like to do it for support, but also a reminder to lift in this position, so we're not just resting. Helps protect all those spongy discs. Good. Inhale, let's return back to that Warrior Two position, regaining the balance. And now we're going to get a little tricky here. Become aware of that left hand. On an exhale, we're going to windmill through. Release the hands on either side of the right foot, coming on the ball of the left, so that you can step back into plank, up, push up. And you can certainly modify on the knees. But shoulders should be stacked over the wrists, scooping the tailbone down and under to firm the thighs. And then exhale, shift your hips back. Through the magic of yoga, we're in down dog again, in preparation for the opposite side. So this time, just rock the hips from side to side, loosening up the IT band, calves, even the ankles, and the fascia in your feet. And now let's inhale. Lift that left foot up toward the sky. And then exhale. Swing, step, or assist through. Take your time because we're working our way to roughly a 90-degree bend in the knee. Releasing that rear heel 45 degrees so that you have a nice stable base. Because now we're going to activate the core and the strength of our legs to power up. Squaring the chest and hips. Nice energetic reach into Virabhadrasana 1, left side. As always, give a quick systems check to make sure that you can see the toes beyond the knee. 50-50 pressure in both feet. And of course, making sure you're still breathing deeply. That's always a good barometer for stress. If we lose the breath, don't be afraid to reset. So we're looking for some heat building in the legs. Make sure you're smiling if you feel it. Exhale, float open into your Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2, and just opening the heart and the hips. Energetic reach through the fingertips, giving the toes a little wiggle, and directing your gaze to that forward hand, always in the direction of the lunge. Good. Inhale. Let's send that left hand up toward the sky, right hand to the right thigh, or you can cross that arm behind the back as you rise away from the waist. Still maintaining that forward lunge as long as it's comfortable for you. Good. Inhale, return back to that Warrior Two position, regaining the balance. And from here, on an exhale, we're going to windmill through. Release the hands, coming off of that rear heel, and then step back into plank, full or modified. So we held our warrior sequences to begin to build that muscle memory. So let's exhale, shift the hips back for down dog. And this will become our resting point, because we're going to attempt to link those together. We call it dancing warrior. And we'll link it with one breath and one movement. But I want you to take your time. Don't feel as if you need to keep up with my cue. It's supposed to be a couple of steps or beats ahead of you so that you know what's coming next. So whenever you're ready, let's inhale. Send that right foot up toward the sky. Exhale. Swing, step, or assist through. Inhale. Rise up for warrior one. Exhale. Warrior two. Inhale. Reverse. And let's exhale. Windmill through. Step back. Shift the hips for down dog. Inhale. Lift the left. Exhale. Step through. Inhale. Warrior one. Exhale. Open for two. Inhale. Reverse. Exhale. Let's pass through. Step back into plank. Exhale. Down dog. Good. Again, inhale, lift the right. Exhale, step through. Inhale, one. Exhale, two. Inhale, reverse. And exhale, let's pass through. Step back and shift into down dog. Inhale, lift the left. Exhale, step through. Inhale, one. Exhale, two. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, let's pass through. Step back to plank. Exhale, down dog. Let's do two more on each side. And I'm going to remove my verbal cue, but I'll continue to move so that you're reminded of what comes next. But the key is to listen to your breath. Let that be your guide, your metronome. If you're feeling nice and comfortable, you always have that option to close the eyes. One more round each side. As you make your way through this final round, on this last side, we'll pause in that downward facing dog. So once you've made it to your down dog, again become acquainted with the alignment, tucking the chin in, lengthening through the spine, nice deep breaths. And on your next inhale, let's step the feet forward, coming into a forward fold, hinging from the hips. If you have a block nearby, you can use it as an assisted device to bridge the gap between the hands and the floor. Now that you're good and warm, you also have the option to hug the legs. You can find the bind of the big toes, pulling yourself a little deeper, even sliding your hands underneath the feet with your palms facing up. But if you're taking care of blood pressure, high or low, remember you can always keep your head a little higher than the heart, or even soften the knees so that you can rest your elbows on your thighs. Let's tiptoe the fingers to the right edge of the mat just for a little mini twist, being mindful to not over torque the knees. Pass through center and let's switch sides. Good. Coming back to center, soften the knees, hands to the thighs. Scoop the tailbone under as you slowly rise up to standing mountain. And take a moment to find a spot on the earth just to direct your gaze so that you can get your balance. And now I'm going to take a step to the side of the mat so that I'm facing your monitor. So taking advantage of the length of your mat now, soft knees. And on an inhale, we're going to sweep the arms up. And on an exhale, swan dive forward, fold, hinge from the hips, scoop the hands to the earth. Inhale, send the arms right back up. One breath, one movement. Exhale, fold and scoop. Inhale, lift to rise. And just take your time. Still keeping the blood flowing and maintaining higher temperature in the core. Give me 2 more. And as you make your way to that final round, let's go ahead and exhale, fold, and we're going to hold the low position. Again, if you'd like, you can use your yoga block to bridge the gap. You could also soften the knees and rest your elbows on the thighs. But wherever you are, begin to practice lengthening your spine so that your torso is parallel to the earth. Top of the head is reaching forward as you send your sit bones back. And for those of you facing me on the monitor, I'm going to mirror you. So let's anchor with the right hand. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Nice twist. A gentle push with that base hand to help deepen the rotational movement. If you're taking care of the shoulder, remember you can always cross the arm behind the back. Giving those toes a little wiggle. Inhale, rotate your head to look down. We're going to exhale, release the hand, but begin to march your hands towards your left foot, and we're going to lunge into that knee. So actually sitting back on it as if you were sitting back onto a low stool, and you want both feet flat. So nice extension in that opposite leg as we strengthen the hip and the glutes in this lateral lunge. Make sure you're smiling. Good. Now let's walk the hands around that left foot, coming on the ball of the right. And we're going to add a balance move here. So maintaining a nice 90-degree bend in that forward knee. When you're ready, still staying on the ball of the rear foot, we're going to push very slowly to rise. So using the core and the strength of that forward thigh. Extending the arms up. Again, you can adjust the depth of the lunge, which will change the intensity of the balance and the strength involved. Now make sure you're smiling, because if it's available to you from here on an exhale, all we're going to do is hinge from the hips. Tap the fingers to your mat And then inhale, rise right back up. But take your time. Try not to push yourself up or rely on momentum. Don't let the body drop back down to the earth. I want you to control the range of motion from start to finish. Give me 2 more. Let's lift and hold that last one. Nice. Exhale, slowly release, and we're just going to exit the way we entered. So let's come back to that forward position, nice wide angled fold. Feet are parallel, toes are soft. Anchor with the left hand. Let's inhale, reach that right hand up for a twist. And remember, you can cross that arm behind the back if you prefer, but put a little muscle behind your twist, pushing with that base hand. Inhale, rotate your head to look down. Exhale, release the hand. Let's march the hands now toward that right foot, lunging into that knee, keeping both feet flat. Nice lateral lunge here on this side while lengthening the hip adductor. And again, you control the depth based on the comfort of the stretch and even the joints involved. Let's walk the hands around that right foot, coming on the ball of the left. Again, we're looking for roughly a 90-degree bend in that forward knee. And take your time, calling on those core muscles and the strength of that forward thigh, glutes, hamstrings, and hip to help you rise. Sending the arms up overhead, welcoming the sensations of heat building as we challenge our balance. And again, you can hold it static, or if you'd like, you could make it dynamic by exhaling. Hinging from the hips, tap the hands to the mat, but pushing with the foot, using the core and the strength of the leg to help you rise back up. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift. Two more. And as you make your way to that final round, go ahead and lift and hold it. Again, nice deep breaths. And exhale, slowly release. Exit the way we entered, coming back to that wide angle, forward fold. And this time, walk your hands forward, roughly 2 hand lengths. And on an inhale, we're going to shift the weight forward so that the shoulders are over the wrists. But notice now, you should be able to lift the heels, balancing on the balls of the feet. Nice action in the calves. From here on an exhale, we're going to lower the heels, shift the weight back, and actually tuck the chin to look behind you, almost like we're doing a wide angle down dog. So this is a nice stretch for the neck and the shoulders. Also relieve some of that lactic acid we built in the legs. So let's make it dynamic. Inhale, shift the weight forward, lift the heels. Exhale, release, and shift back. Good. Again, forward. Lift the heels. Exhale, fold, and shift back. Again, inhale, forward, lift the heels. Exhale, release. 2 more. As you complete that final round, we're going to slowly release the heels, walk the hands back, soften the knees, hands to the thighs, scoop the tailbone under as you slowly rise up. Good. Just take a moment to roll the shoulders back, lower the chin, roll the shoulders forward. Set the shoulders down and back, and we're going to make our transition back to the front edge of the mat. So take your time, give the foot a pivot, coming off of that rear heel. Spring load the knee, and we're just going to step forward, back into mountain. Inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, take your time because your hamstrings will feel a little tight, which is normal after all of those strong standing moves. Hopefully you enjoyed the high and low experience. Still gentle, but challenging. Go ahead and soften the knees to flatten the palms, and we're going to step 1 foot at a time back into that plank once again. Up, push up. Scooping the tailbone down and under. Engaging the core. Again, you can always lower the knees. One more fun thing I like to do for high and low, if it's available to you, again, even if you're in modified plank, is to lower onto the forearms and the elbows. And try to keep the hands nice and light. Core is strong. Breath deep and even. Good. And then one hand at a time. We'll just push back up into our plank. And exhale. Shift the hips for down dog. Fantastic. Tucking the chin in, lengthening the spine. Let those heels gently reach for the earth one final time. And on an exhale, slowly lower the knees, uncurl the toes, take a well-deserved break into your child's pose. Again, whatever version speaks to you, we have definitely earned it. So let the torso become heavy, surrendering to the stretch, and breathing from shoulder to shoulder and hip to hip, taking inventory of what you feel and how you feel at this point in your practice. On the inhale, let's slowly rise up. Walk the knees to one edge, lower the hips to the opposite side, sliding the hands back as you swing your feet toward the front edge of your mat, whichever position is comfortable. We're going to come with the legs extended. Again, you can use a towel or a pillow to place under the knees if you feel tension in the lower back. And from here, with the toes and the knees pointing straight up toward the sky, let's inhale, send the arms up. And keeping the back nice and tall, we're going to hinge from the hips only as you exhale, fold forward. Reaching for the shins, the ankles, or even the feet. You can also use your yoga strap to wrap it around the feet, giving yourself a little bridge and leverage, which will minimize the risk of overtaxing the back. But as you start to feel those muscles soften, go ahead and chase that next level of stretch. Breathing deeply. Good, and slowly rise up. Let's bring the right foot into the inner left leg. Allow that knee to open out. And again, doesn't matter how high, whatever is comfortable for your hip and knee. Reset the alignment as you inhale, reach. Exhale, once again, hinge from the hips, always protecting the back. Keeping the foot flexed as you explore your sweet spot. As those muscles begin to soften, you can always go a little bit deeper, as long as you're working comfortably within your limits. Again, it's fair to say that the muscles are nice and warm now. We can take advantage of that heat and deepen our stretches. So slowly rise up. Let's guide that knee up. Placing the hand behind the back, and we're just going to rotate in the direction of the knee, sitting nice and tall. Keeping the foot on the extended leg, still active with the toes and the knee pointing straight up, but give a little push with that rear hand, creating that corkscrew effect. Making sure the ears aren't creeping up toward the shoulders, or vice versa. That's our friend Griffin. Let's inhale, rotate your head to look forward. Let's exhale, unwind and switch sides. Tucking the foot in, wherever it's comfortable for you. Again, sitting nice and tall. Let's inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, folding forward. Evening out the shoulders, finding your sweet spot. It's just like being on the riverfront. You hear dogs, whistles, birds, the sound of the breeze. We're just missing some waves, but that's okay. As you feel those muscles soften, you can always go a little deeper. Good, and slowly begin to release. We'll rise up as you guide that knee up, and we're going to place the hand behind the back, twisting to the opposite side. Again, let the shoulders drop down and back, still keeping the foot on that extended leg active. Breathing into the rotation. Inhale, rotate your head to look forward. Exhale, unwind, and we're just going to slide the heel back. So both are meeting. Give a peek behind you to make sure that you have enough space, because we're going to make our transition to the back. So extend through the arms and slowly, gently, softly begin to unroll. Sliding the hands behind the head, interlacing the fingers, elbows open wide. Bringing the knees into the chest. Crossing at the ankles, and on an exhale, we're going to lift the head and shoulders to engage the abdominals, and then inhale, slowly return to start. One breath, one movement. Exhale, lift to engage. Inhale, slowly release. Taking your time without rushing or racing, and providing just enough pressure on the back of the head to support it. We don't want to pull. And as always, feeling the contraction from the base of the rib cage to the top of the hips. And if you don't, maybe lift and pause for a breath or two. Give me 4 more. We're going to lift and hold that final one. Again, elbows nice and wide. Deep breaths. Good. Inhale, slowly release. Let's uncross the ankles. And on an exhale this time, extend the right leg and let's twist to that left knee. Inhale, bring the knee in, release the head and shoulders. Exhale, opposite side. And you get to choose the angle at the hip based on what's comfortable for you. The lower the leg is toward the earth, the more challenging it's going to be for the core, but just make sure that you keep your back strong and avoid arching in the lower lumbar region. Give me 2 more on each side. As you make your way to that final twist on that last side, let's bring that knee in. Release the head and shoulders and wrap the arms around the knees. Nice slow circles massaging your back. And gently switch the rotation. Knees back to center. Let's go ahead and open the arms out into a T, or you can bend the elbows. And we're just going to lower the knees to one side, coming into a spinal twist. And you get to choose how high or low you like your knees tucked based on where you prefer the stretch in the back. And just let the shoulders soften as you rotate your head in the opposite direction. Letting the body become heavy. Good. Inhale, float the knees back through center. Exhaling completely, let's guide them to the opposite side. And again, adjust that knee tuck accordingly. Letting the shoulders soften as you rotate your head. Inviting the eyes to close, breathing deeply as you enjoy the sensations of this final spinal twist. Good. Inhale, let's slowly float the knees back through center, placing your hands on the top edges of your knees, and let's exhale. Lift the head and shoulders, tucking in nice and tight to your cannonball. You could even reach down for your feet for better leverage, softening everything from the base of the neck down to the lower back. And then slowly unroll, lower one foot at a time. Release your arms down to your sides as well. And we're going to push with the feet to lift into bridge. Nice extension through the arms. Keeping the thighs parallel, knees comfortably stacked over the ankles. And lifting not just with the hips, but also the base of the rib cage so that we can really stretch out both the front and the back body. Putting a little power into those leg muscles one final time. And let's exhale, slowly, gently, softly release. And as soon as the hips make contact, you get to choose how you'd like to close out your practice today. You could stay with the knees bent, with your hands lightly resting on your abdomen, or you could extend your legs out the length and width of your mat, ending into full expression of Shavasana. Whatever position you choose, make sure that you're comfortable. Inviting the eyes to close and taking one more deep cleansing breath as you scan the body from head to toe, taking note of any differences from when you stepped onto your mat to now. And softening the face with a smile, honoring yourselves for taking this time out of your busy day to do something just for you. Now giving yourselves permission to truly release as you bask in the glow of all of your hard work. Simply take rest. Now very slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your extremities by wiggling your fingers and your toes and rotating your wrists and your ankles. And slowly sweep the arms back behind you for one final torso stretch as you reach through those fingers and toes, arching the back, taking a deep breath here. And then relax the spine, drawing the knees into your chest one at a time, wrapping the arms around the knees, giving yourselves another big hug today. And let's roll to the side, holding here for 3 deep, easy breaths, preparing the mind and body to make that transition back into our day. And only when you're ready, using the strength of your arms, let's slowly rise up to a comfortable seated position at the head of our mats. Closing our practice, bring our hands at heart center, inviting the eyes to close. As I leave you with one of my favorite quotes from the late Jimi Hendrix, who writes, quote, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." In closing, I'd like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank each of you for sharing this time with me. And a special thanks to our friends at the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy for hosting us on their Facebook page. Now, for more information on our wellness programs and services, please visit us at Urban Solace Studio right here on Facebook or at urbansolacestudio.com. And from our home to yours, stay safe and namaste.